G'day all and welcome to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'll be Nat and this will be my Knackers Yard, and this will be my CB400 that's slowly but surely getting there. Previous one sorted the rocker cover, that now looks damn near acceptable. What else did I sort out? Oh yeah, the pipes that look actually really very good. What I want to do today is start the front end, so whilst I'm in a sort of a polishing mindset as much as anything else, I want to get those forks done. I've had a quick look at the brakes just to get them off more than anything else. Yeah, they need changing. They are going to be a bitch because it looks to be that one flathead bolt that is holding it all together, and that is seized as much as you like. So I'm just dousing it with release spray whilst I get on with other stuff to see if that will help me out a bit. Right, so bit of light bondage, bit of bike bondage. I mean, it probably would have made more sense to do this on a jack when I didn't have the downpipes on, and I could get to the sump a lot easier. But you know, I've done this before and it works. So I'm on a rear stand. I've got the front wheel on a block of wood just to raise it ever so slightly, because obviously it's got the force of the weight of the bike dropping it down a little bit. Hoiked up as much as I can get. So got the calipers off. Obviously this one has got 2 bolts on both sides, which is a little bit unusual. It's pinch bolts, so they're all loosened off. I have cracked the main bolt across the middle. I'm just going to whip it all off, put it all to a side, get me to those forks. Right, so that's bike bondage doing what bike bondage needs to do. So the forks will obviously free spin, which gives you nice decent access. So I'm going to grab my Scotch-Brite pads and just let's get busy. Right, one down now. Regrettably, because I've had to sling my bike up over that main beam of my garage, the lighting back here is pump. I'm happy with that. If you get a decent close-up look, you know, it looks clean. Is it super shiny? No, but that's not what I'm after. I'm after that sort of brushed metal look. Yeah, and if you compare that to the one that I haven't done yet, so hang on, let me think. Yeah, that's the outside. Yeah, try and focus a little bit more, camera, there we go. So after, there we go, and before. Right, shall I film it? Might see if I can perch. No, I'm not going to film it. Effectively it is the wire pad, Scotch-Brite pad. Get the worst off and then have at it with the bit by bit. Don't coat the whole thing with mothers and then try and get it off, because you'll spend half your life trying to burn it off. It's a bastard to get off once it's really super dry. So just get it on, get it blacking up, do a strip, sort of a half a fork, get it as dry and good as you can, spin it round, overlap it by a half, and then just do the same again. Right, let's get on with that. And there we go, rolled out in a fortuitous little bit of sunshine to get some of the benefit of it. That's the end result that we've got there, so I'm well happy with that. It's not perfect, it's not a mirror finish, but it's considerably cleaner than was, and just looks, it suits the bike. A mirrored finish just really wouldn't work. Now when you're using those pads on the old angle grinder, it just throw fibre everywhere, so a bit of a tidy up needed, but I'm well happy with that. I think between that, the pipes and the rocker top, that all looks good. I keep talking about Belgom alu, that's the stuff, and it just puts a little bit of a, well, it's polishing itself, but it puts a a bit of a protection layer over the top of all the other stuff that's gone on, so it's really good. Right, next job is them troublesome brake calipers. Right, and we're back, and it is the next day in the real world. So I left those brake calipers soaking and thought that was it for the evening, and chilled out and grabbed a beer and sat in front of the telly and had a little bit of an idea that might work, and fortunately it did. And I'll talk you through my thought process. See, the calipers are off, so I took them off. The reason I took them off is because I wanted to try them in my ultrasonic. Now I've only got a little ultrasonic, it's only I think the 2 litre one, so it's one caliper at a time, and put it into soak. Heated it up to as hot as it would go, banged it in for one session, which I think is 35 minutes on the timer on it. The thing that I did discover was that the little was on there, the little flathead screw top is just a cap, and that was what was difficult to get out. I wouldn't say it popped out, it needed some encouragement, and it needed one of them came out quite easily actually. The other one needed my my impact driver, not my electric one, because I can't really do a flathead in it, but I've got like an old manual impact driver, which is a godsend at times. It really is. So it's just, you know, bang it in, give it a bit of a twist, and when you hit it, it spins the end. That's an impact driver simply. So that was awesome. So that got the other one out. Inside and underneath that cap was the actual hex bolt that holds everything together, holds all the pads in. Pads were, oh excuse me, pads pretty low. Potentially get away with the ball, but you know, why wouldn't you change it? Others say it weren't quite so bad actually. But I've ordered some new ones. Also ordered a set of rear ones as well, just while I was there. I haven't taken it off to have a look, but why not change the set? Now, looking at the actual brakes themselves, they don't actually look too bad. They obviously look like they've been sat outside for a while. Now, the issue that I've got is I've got several issues. I'm clouded with issues. The issue that I've got is I have no way of ejecting those on the camera. Oh, that's my wake up alarm. It is early. The advantage of doing quiet work, you can start earlier. The issue that I've got is how I then get those pistons out to give them a clean. So I'm going to have to put them back on the bike to pump them out. I don't have a compressor to bang through and get them out, and there's no direct route through, so I am going to have to refit them to try and pump them out. But what I'm going to do first is just try and give them a bit of a surface clean, brake cleaner, and a toothbrush. You don't want to go too abrasive, or you don't want to go abrasive at all if you can handle it on the pistons themselves. But I'm going to give them a quick douche, chuck them back on, and then pump them out a bit. What I might also do is just have a look at what I can clean and what I can't. Now, it looks like the carrier got a bit of a wobble on it, so the carrier will move with some encouragement, but it looks to be a whole formed unit. It's not a half and halfer, which is nice and secure. But to get it nice and clean, I might need to dismantle it a little bit more, but we shall see, and I will have a look off camera. I hate bleeding brakes. Yeah, I've tried all sorts. I've tried that one-way valve tool that I bought. I can't seem to get on with that. I've tried the old spray bottle technique. I can't get on with that. All I can seem to get on with is the traditional way of doing it. Even harder when the system's dry, which is effectively fill up the master cylinder with the calipers off, let it bleed through, a little bit of tickling of the brake lever, let it bleed through the pipes, particularly difficult when it's a double, and then go for a couple of pumps. Let me grab this and I'll show you. Close systems, so close off the bleed nipples a couple of pumps, hold the brake down, and if you're on your own, a little G-clamp really helps. Hold the brake down, open the bleed, let it spurt, close it, and then do what it's doing. I now finally have moving brake blocks, brake pistons. So what I'm doing is I'm chocking it with a bit of wood, because I only want it to come out so far if I can get away with it. But actually, more importantly, what I don't want it to do is pop the pistons on this side. All the brake fluid that I've just spent about an hour trying to get to go through comes pissing through, and I've got no action on the other one. So at the moment, the right hand side, so this one, there's no T or anything, they're both straight off the main brake reservoir. It's a shorter pipe, so pneumatically, no, that's air, hydraulically, it makes sense that that one would go first. So I'm just chocking it because I don't want it to pop and waste all my fluid. Now let's get you slightly geared up, and we'll see if I can help you see that exact action happening on the other one. Let me get you set up a bit better. So there you go, that's you set up staring at the left hand piston. I am going to need some more brake fluid. Shopping for more brake fluid. Let's see, you've probably got a better view than I've got now. You can see those pistons moving slightly, or at least I can. Can I zoom on this? Oh, I can. There we go. Didn't realise I could zoom. There you go. Great view. So when you squeeze your brake, that's exactly what's happening. So that's a full push of the brake, and it's just, you know, they don't have to come out far. I'm keeping a very close eye on my brake reservoir because I do not want to lose a lot. They're coming out quite evenly, actually. Now, I don't actually know if I need to pop those, but what I'm going to do is chock them so I can get them both out the same distance, preferably without breaking my camera. Let me move this to a side so I can get to it without knocking my camera over, which isn't my principal concern, but it's one of them. So that's now chopped onto a bit of wood, because one of the pistons was coming out a little bit faster than the other. Occasional push and hold. It's going to be a bastard to get this bit of wood out, but it's better than now. So what we now have, let me move this off shot. Wasn't that bad, actually. What we now have is those pistons out far enough, or further than they necessarily need to be, for the brake to operate. And actually, if you look at the surface that they've got, not too bad. Right, I'm happy with that. Now the question is whether or not I pop them complete. Don't know. Don't know how long those pistons are. I think I am going to try and pop them complete so I can do a proper job of refurbing them. Do I bother? Let me have a think. Right, decision made. I am not going to pop the pistons. Reason, or two reasons. One, and I suppose what should be the main reason, so I'm just getting any brake fluid off my tyre, which will be annoying. First main reason is the fact that I've actually been able to get a really good clean in on those pistons. Now, also bearing in mind that they are, you know, further out than they will ever be again. If the pistons are this far out, you've got no brake pads. I mean, that's barely, what, 3 times as wide as the actual disc itself. So that's one. The other one is, anyway, I did the tester on the other one, was to see how easily they go back in. Now, I have struggled in the past, like a bugger, to get these back in, and I've tried all sorts. You know, pushing them back in, but you've got to bear in mind that you're pushing not that piston, you're pushing that piston and all of your hydraulic fluid all the way through your system and into the master. So getting them back in, because otherwise you ain't going to get your pads back in. Pads back in. First things first, always bestow the value of these. They are really handy to have in. Nip up to your main reservoir and make space, because otherwise, and I have done this before, not on this bike but on a previous bike, the second you, my seat just broke, the second you push them pistons back in, all of that fluid goes up, out of the top of the brake reservoir, and suddenly you try and work out why your neck's wet and slightly warm. Now the method that I found on this is you can do each piston separately if you want. There's not a lot of point. You have a bit of metal that's perfectly shaped to go over that. I mean, I've replaced this, so I'm not fussed how what happens to it. So I've got a big ass G-clamp, chuck it on, give it a bit of a pinch, and then wind those pistons back up. Now these are going in nice and easy. I'm putting absolutely bugger all pressure on them, which convinces me that they're all right. They're not shiny and new, but neither's the bike. Now you want to seat them but not crush them. Get nice and far back. Job is a good one. You now have space for your new brake pads when they arrive. Bits to note, aside from any loose bits of crap that are kicking around on your calipers, bits to note is your travelling surfaces that hold your brake pads will need to be nice and super clean. Now you can either ping them off, which I may well do on this, or just give them a blast in situ. I am going to put all the bolts and everything else through my ultrasonic that I've slightly fallen back in love with. I did fall out of love with it because I think I fell for the hype that you put everything in, it comes out all shiny and new. It doesn't, but it has utterly saved my arse on these brake calipers, because there was no way that I was going to get that what turned out to be a pin cover, sorry, a bolt cover off without it. Frankly, not a chance, or not without stripping it, or eventually drilling it out, which was going to be my other option. Now logically what I should do here is now do the back. Do you know what? Sunday morning, sun's out, I can't be arsed, and this is the beauty of this being a hobby and not a job, is the fact that you know, as they do in the UK gambling adverts, when the fun stops, stop. I am going to knock it on the head at that point, or at this point. I'm just going to suck out the last of this slightly dodgy fluid and just chuck some new stuff in on the top. So that means it's had a nice flush all the way through the system. Yeah, a nice flush all the way through the system. It's got nice fresh oil, nice fresh brake oil, brake fluid throughout, which can only be a good thing. I am going to need to buy some more, because those pistons are currently fully seated back. Once I get the new brake pads in, they're going to need to come in a touch, but really not a lot. Routinely when I do brakes, I don't leave enough space for the new pads. I always underestimate how much girth they got to them, how thick they are, yeah, it always turns into a pain in the arse. So I've made sure that I've seated these as far back as I possibly can. Like I say, I should do the back ones, but I can't be bothered at the moment. I have ordered new brake pads for the rear, as well as those for the front. They should be here during the week. Cool. Right, so where are we? We're in a good place, I think. I should get the carb parts, you know, early in the week. I may well just try and fill up that carb in an evening during the week. I may film it. I have done other films on, you know, installing carb kits, but I may do another one. I'll see how I feel and see if this week at work turns out to be half as shitty as the last one. Yeah, so I should be in a position to get the car built throughout the week. Probably not mounted. I think that's a weekend job. It's a noisy day job rather than a quiet sat in the kitchen evening job. So car built by the end of the week, mounted probably on the weekend. Brake pads, I should, touch wood, be able to just, there's a big ass wasp next to my ear, I should be able to just chuck them in throughout the week. So what, by the weekend I could potentially have a running or a starting and stopping bike. Beyond that, there's still loads to do. There's a shitload of cosmetics that I keep bumping into and physically having to hold myself back from, although you could argue that the rocker cover and the some of the stuff I've done is cosmetics. Yeah, it kind of is, but it's functional cosmetics and stuff that I'll struggle to get to later once I've rebuilt a bit. There's quite a lot of cosmetic-y stuff that I want to do. Things I need to do is the rear brake, obviously. I think the chain is okay, but a bit mucky, so the chain needs a clean up. And then I need to start having a quick look through the electrics, I think. But aside from that, there is progress. And there is discernible progress. So that'll do me for another episode of Nat's Knacker's Yard. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. The subscriber numbers are creeping up, which I'm happy with. You know, yet again, I'm not in this for subscribers. I'm not in this for likes. I'm not in this for monetization. I'm in this because this is my hobby, and you're joining me on my hobby. So I hope you've enjoyed joining me on my hobby. Spread the world. Spread the world. Spread the word. More the merrier. Yeah. Please feel free to comment, give me advice, give me tips. Whatever you want to do. I do try and reply back to every comment that is replyable, I suppose, not just people trying to sell sex sites. But yeah, this is fundamentally, this is my hobby, and you're coming along for the ride. Right, that'll do me for another one. Cheers all, catch you later. Ta-da.